Hi, my name is Tamara, and you are watching Things Even a Monkey Should Know. Thanks so much for watching again today. As you know, if you've watched some of my other videos, I'm not a professional at this do-it-yourself stuff. I'm just a girl who's figured out that there are a lot of things around the house and out in the yard and on my cars that I can do myself and save myself time and money usually. So hopefully you've saved those things now too. So today being a rainy, nasty, cloudy day, and you know, I'm just always looking for stuff to do, we're going to do a really easy task today, and we're going to replace the ends, both ends, on an extension cord. So let's get started. So the whole purpose of doing this, well, I don't know if you've gone out to buy an extension cord lately, but they are dadgum expensive these days. And so if I can reconstitute or resurrect or whatever you want to use, whatever word, an old one, then I am certainly going to do that. This one, as you can see, has had a lot of unfortunate usage. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to replace both ends. So the things that you'll need will be your extension cord that has a bad end or two bad ends. This is the male end, this is the female end, replacing both. You will need the replacement pieces. Make sure that you have replacement ends that are the correct amperage and voltage. So I have a 15 amp 120 volt ends for mine, and generally your extension cord is going to have that printed somewhere along on it. You will want to have a little screwdriver. I know some people probably would prefer to use a power screwdriver, but these are just not that hard to get apart. So, and as opposed to possibly stripping it, I'm just going to use everything manual today. You may need a little pair of needle nose pliers, depending on how ornery your thing wants to be. You're going to need a pair of wire cutters, and you will want to have a pair of wire strippers. And this is kind of a crappy pair, but it works really well, so I can't complain. And that should be all that you'll need today. Okay, I don't have to tell you, right? Make sure that your extension cord is unplugged before we work on it. We all know this by now, right? Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to start with, I mean, both these ends are terrible, but this one has actually had the sleeve kind of yanked out. It looks like it's had things yanked out and around on it several times. And since the wires are already exposed on this one, then all I'm going to do is just go ahead and just snick off the end of this here, and I'm going to leave, I guess about 3/4 inch of those wires exposed. I probably should have done them one by one, but I like to do things the hard way. So there we have that. We have our 3 wires, and as you will remember, hopefully, and if you have not watched any of my other videos, then this might be new, but the green wire is the ground wire, the black wire is the hot wire, it's the one that can really give you the good shock, and then the white wire is the neutral wire. So we want to make sure that we get all of these appropriately wired into our new extension cord in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, I believe these are 14 gauge, I'm going to go ahead and just strip off, you know, in the area of 1/2 inch of their outer covering insulation. That's what I was trying to come up with. And I just put it into the little 14 gauge slot here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unscrew and take apart this replacement. I'm going to just push it out from the inside. And this one is, well, first of all, before we do anything silly and forget, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and thread this through the new wire housing, or the new extension cord housing, just to make sure that we don't forget to put this part, because this is the housing, and once we get all the wires connected here, we're not going to be able to get this on. So we have that on, and this is really nice. I mean, I kind of like this particular housing because you can actually take out the individual connectors, which makes it a lot easier to get those wires wrapped around them. So the first one, well, it fell out of the bottom, but it's the neutral, and the screw is a little bit green colored. you will connect the hot wire, the black wire, to the brass screw. And then you will connect the white wire to the silver plated screw. And it's just a way of keeping them all straight so that you don't get confused and crosswire anything, because that can cause a fire hazard and a shock hazard and all kinds of other bad things. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to unscrew. I'm going to do the neutral first just because it's here. I'm going to twist these wires up so that they're just really tightly bunched together. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a little hook, because just by kind of wrapping it around my screwdriver. Okay, so in my list of things in the beginning that you might need or will need, I should have said something with a smaller diameter to wrap your wires around. So I'm going to go ahead and make a smaller hook here, and then I'm going to pick up my neutral connection again, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get it around there, and hopefully it's on there. It should be. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten the screw up so that it sits on there, or it stays in there. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the neutral and the hot. And remembering again that, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to twist this. Remembering again that the hot wire connects to the brass plated screw. The neutral wire goes to the silver plated screw. Okay, so what if we get up to this point where we've got all of the wires connected, and then we say, oh no, I don't know which one went where, you know, whether the white or the black goes on the right or the left? Well, let me tell you how this works. The white, the neutral, is always going to be on the larger side of the plug. So in this case, since it is the female side, it's going to be this side right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just slip that down into there, which means that the hot, or the black, is going to be on the other side. So I'll go ahead and slip this little connector back down in here, and that only leaves the bottom for the ground or green. And so I'll just slip that down right in there. And then we will go ahead and we will put the housing up, slide that up over all of this wiry mess here, and smash it in there. And it's a really good tight fit, so I don't have any worries about that sealing as far as water goes and stuff, but this is very awkward to get it in here. I am actually going to go out of your sight for just a second, and I'm going to don't want to damage my table by trying to get it to go all the way in on the table. So I'm going to finish pushing it in on the floor. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the screw into the top, screw it in, and it does appear to be screwing in properly, so I did get it all the way in. Now, even though the other end of this looks absolutely terrible, I do want to go ahead and test and make sure that I got everything wired in here correctly. And I know we do not have full ground and everything, but so we know that we got this one done correctly. Okay, as you can see, we have unplugged this again, and so now we need to do this other end, right? The male end. And let me tell you, on this end, I about erred on not leaving myself enough cord to work with, which made it a lot more frustrating to get the wires put on those little terminals than it should have been. So make sure that you leave yourself enough cord, which we are going to do this time around, because that was incredibly aggravating. And y'all saw it in fast motion. You did not have to go through the torture that I went through myself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clip off this end. As you can see, it looks kind of burned, kind of bad. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to clip this off, and then I'm going to strip the wires to give myself some good working. Actually, I'm going to clip this off, and then I'm going to clip the all these things that you think about as you go. Now, I wasn't thinking about on the other end, the insulation on the outer part of the cord was already pulled back, so I didn't have to worry about it. On this end, it is not. So you will actually need to have a little blade of some sort and carefully go around and score that insulation, because we want to get that off, and try to do it without scoring the insulation on the wires inside. So don't make, you know, a very deep cut there. And then hopefully that should just, look at that, come right off. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to strip these wires, and I'm going to do exactly what we did the last time, and giving myself a little more room to work this time, right? So again, we're going to have the same principle, except that this time these are not removable, so it's going to be a little more of a pain in the buttocks to do this, but that's okay. It'll get done. But remember again that the hot wire goes on the goes with the brass coated screw, which this time is on the opposite side as what it was from last time. And I'm going to go ahead and twist these up, and I'm going to make the crook again, and then I'm going to attach them all to the little terminals. What did I almost forget to do? I almost forgot to put this housing on, which would have made me so aggravated. So don't forget to do that too. So I plugged in my other fixed end. Now let's see if it works. Oh, let there be light. So you realize there was a reason why I tested this twice, so that I would know if there was a problem, I would know which end the problem was in. But hooray, it looks like everything went well. And one other thing that I didn't mention, that I should have mentioned in the beginning, was whenever you wire these things up, make sure that none of those wires, that there's none of that copper crosses over. You don't want it touching, you don't want them touching each other. You don't want anything from the neutral touching the hot, nothing from the hot touching the ground or the neutral. Everything needs to stay contained in its own little space. So at least I feel like I've gotten something accomplished on this nasty little afternoon. I have a new old extension cord. Actually, it was one that I was thinking about throwing out, but then I thought, with as much as those things cost, that's ridiculous, because the wiring is still good. It was just the ends that were bad. So, you know, if you have one laying around, don't just throw it out, just replace the ends. It's really easy, and you can actually get easier outlet ends, male-female connector ends than I got, where basically you just plug the wire into a little thing, I don't remember what it's called, an outlet or port or whatever, anyways, and you just snap it shut instead of having to deal with the screws and everything. This is just what I happen to get, because, you know, I like to show you guys the harsh way to do things. Just kidding. But I hope that helps you. That cost me a whopping $5 total to do, I think. And a new cord of that type and of that length would have been about 30 or 40. It depends on where you get it. But it would not have been really very cheap. So I'm really happy to have another working extension cord, and I hope that it helped you to fix some of yours too. So thanks so much for watching again today. Thank you very, very much to everybody who has already subscribed. If you haven't done that yet, please find the subscribe button somewhere on that side of the screen and go ahead and subscribe now. And until next time, have a good week, and I'll see you again soon.